What would happen if all of the Earth's ice were to melt overnight as a result of a significant uptick in climate change? This is suppose if, and here is what would occur if all of the ice on Earth were to melt. At any point watched an ice 3D square dissolve in a glass of water that is filled to the edge. How does it affect the level of the water? It does not, in fact. A melted ice cube replaces the same volume of water above or below the water line. Let's now add salt to the mixture. On account of a 1 cubic inch ice solid shape, the water level in the glass will rise. That rise is salt water that has moved on. A rather insignificant sum, isn't it? But what if you apply this to floating sea ice and glaciers? Ice covers 5.8 million square miles of our planet. The global sea level would rise by approximately 230 feet if it all melted overnight. That is sufficient to cover the Tower Bridge in London. Partially submerged would be each of the 7 continents. London and Miami would not exist. 80% of Australia's inhabitants and its coast would be washed away. The Netherlands and Venice would also do so. Africa wouldn't suffer too much. However, the subsequent heat waves would render most of the continent inhabitable. Think floods would completely wipe out humanity? Not all of it, though. However, there would be a great deal of danger for the remaining individuals. Carbon dioxide would be released into the air by all that melted ice. For ice to melt at all, high CO2 concentrations are required. Considering that oxygen content in the climate would continue as before, you would gradually begin to stifle from breathing the air. You wouldn't have much time to adjust to the new environment. Sea life would be affected as ocean currents altered their direction. Sea and polar animals would face mass extinction if they were not given enough time to adapt to such drastic changes. The remaining survivors would need to relocate to a more suitable location. Human food supplies would suffer as a result. Also, the weather would change dramatically if the sea current changed. The deserts would receive a lot of rain, and areas that had received a lot of rain would dry out. A global famine and devastation of agriculture would result from this. Additionally, wind patterns would alter. The sun would draw more moisture from the oceans and create more clouds in the sky if there was no ice to reflect the sun's rays. The mountainous regions would be flooded first as the clouds gathered near them. The frequency of oceanic hurricanes would rise, resulting in even more floods. A massive tsunami could devastate nearby regions from even the smallest earthquake off the coast. Governments would be unable to manage the global migration that would result from all of this. The world as it is now would end. Fortunately, the ice doesn't melt all at once. However, it's melting. Indeed, even the most seasoned ice center that has been putting away data about Earth's environment for 1.5 million years. In 5,000 years, there won't be any ice on Earth if we keep adding fuel to the fire of climate change.